Hello, how much am I worth? $1. All I did to help get the stickers off was a little bit of Goo Gone. Hopefully you guys can see that. You can get a rag and start wiping at it, but it's a lot of times for me in the past it's been easier just to let the Goo Gone settle in for a little while. Just take a knife or something sharp and just start kind of peeling it back, and it peels a lot easier with that Goo Gone. I went outside and washed off the cooler just to get the kind of the debris and dirt off, and now I'm going to use just some basic great value Walmart brand bathroom cleaner with some bleach on it, just to try to start whitening this thing up. And yeah, let's watch and see what happens. All right, just agreed to a deal on Facebook Marketplace for the cooler. We agreed on 120 bucks. We went back and forth a little bit. He offered me 100 and then asked me to bring it to him. I explained to him that I was going to be coming from probably 20-30 minutes away, and that it would still cost 120. But this was the deal. The guy had messaged me. It was on Marketplace for 120. Now, you always know that people are going to list stuff higher than what they anticipate actually selling it for. You know, I expect people to lowball me. That's just part of it. Everybody does it. It's just what it is. So what I did this time to try to get what I wanted to out of it was, I said 120, he said 100. Then he said, is there any way you could bring it to my workplace because I can't leave? So I thought, well, this is my opportunity to take that advantage of bringing it to him. Convenience, there's value in convenience. So I said, look, I'm gonna have to drive a little bit. Is there any way you could just do 120 and I will bring it to you if that 120 is gonna be worth that little bit of in gas? And so he agreed. He did 120, and I brought it to his workplace. It was about a 15-minute drive, and I got what I wanted to out of it. The other day at the flea market, I thought the camera was recording the negotiation between me and the gentleman for the cooler. Unfortunately, things happened. It didn't record. So what we're going to do today is go through a reenactment of the negotiation and how we got the price almost cut in half, and how we were able to make the most profit possible with a few techniques and tips that I'm getting ready to share with you now. All right, so let's say you've been perusing the flea market, a yard sale, whatever. And this can work in really any environment where there's a business transaction that's gonna take place, because that's all this is all this is, no matter if it's a yard sale or in a boardroom. Once that seller starts to kind of engage with me and sees that I'm interested in something after they see me looking at it, the first thing I want to do is gauge their knowledge level on the product. Because if they know a lot about that product, they're going to know a lot about that current value of whatever condition that it's in, and they're going to know the potential value if I'm wanting to clean it up and resell it. They're going to know what the going prices are. The less they know about it, the better shape you're in as far as negotiating. So you may want to just ask a general question like, hey, what's the is this an older model?
I don't know, man. It's like $400 online.
Okay. So basically what he just said was he knows nothing about the product. He threw out a big number that he looked up online, and that's all he has to use to try to impress you. He knows nothing about it. Perfect. So you may want to follow up with something like this. What can you tell me about it?
Look, man, I buy storage buildings, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just in there. I don't know what you trying to do, man. What's up?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. What you're saying is you know exactly nothing about this item, about this cooler, and you're dying for me to stop asking questions about it, because the more I ask you about it, the more it exposes how little you actually know about it. And then you say, what's up, to put a question on me, as if you're already tired of the negotiation and you're ready to settle this thing right now, as am I. So I may pretend as if I'm speaking to my wife or whomever I'm with that day, but in reality, I'm speaking directly to the seller. So what I'm gonna say are things that I'm gonna point out every flaw that I can find on this thing in hopes that he then believes that I know something about the product. He's gonna think that maybe there's much more wrong with it than he even realized. And I'm hoping to get that number down to as low as I possibly can, because I want to get maximum profitability out of it later. Okay, so it may look something like this. Yeah, I don't know, that's busted right here, so I'm gonna have to replace that part. Yeah, it's kind of rough in there. I'm gonna have to smooth that out and then buy some product to get that. I know it's pretty banged up and rough. I'm gonna have to smooth this out here. I'm gonna have to clean all this up and bleach this, and yeah, it's gonna take some work to get this thing to a point where it can actually be used. And I want him to hear every single word of that. No matter who that seller is, make sure they hear every word of every flaw that you find on there. It's not a lie. You are gonna have to do those things, but you want to make sure that that person knows you're gonna have to do all those things, and you're gonna have to put time and money into it. That's going to bring the value at the time down. After I go through all the flaws of talking about the cooler and the item, I'm gonna ask him, hey, so what you thinking on this thing? Where you at with it?
Man, I do 75. I do 75.
Okay, so once that number gets thrown out, if it's an incredible deal, by all means, jump all over it. If he would have said $3, I'd have been like, all right, sold, I'm out of here. But if they put out a number and you're not anywhere close to that number in your head, he said 75, he might as well have said 750. There's no way I'm paying that. Not a chance. I'm not gonna float around that number at all. I'm not gonna hesitate. I'm not gonna give him any inclination that number may even be a possibility. If I'm sitting here like, yeah, I don't know, and I look like I'm hesitating, yeah, I don't know, he's gonna think that meeting somewhere around that number is actually a possibility. When in reality, we don't want to be nowhere near that number. So smash that number right off the bat. Don't be rude about it. Don't be confrontational. Just and explain afterwards why. Something like this. 75, yeah, man, ain't no way. I can't. There's no way I could do that. I'm gonna have to buy this part. I've got to buy some stuff to clean this up with. Man, it's gonna take me at least an hour, 2 hours to even clean it up. That's not even including smoothing these out right here where it's so worn. The inside, man, I don't even know what the condition is. There's just no way I could justify spending 75 bucks on this thing. There's just no way. If there's any inclination that he thinks that that 75 is, that we can stay close to that number, or that number is even possibly doable, it's gonna be harder to bring him down, because he's gonna dig in those heels and he's gonna try to stay around that number, and he'll start 70, 65, 60. No. We're gonna make a big jump right off the bat. So now he realizes that 75 is completely out of the question. It's never ever gonna happen. So now he says,
Well, what you think?
now, okay, so now the ball's in your court. What are you thinking? All right, well, you know what? Say a number to see what happens. You never ever know. So on this day I said, 35. Would you do 35?
35? I don't know, man. What about 50?
All right, now we're getting somewhere. He's went from $75 to $50. He's dropped the price $25 like that. Still not satisfied though. I think we can still get him down lower. So I pause. Now I do act like I'm thinking about it, because 50 bucks isn't a terrible deal for it. Because I already know I can get $100 at minimum out of this cooler, and probably more, which I ended up doing. Keep reminding him of all the stuff that's wrong with it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty old. We don't know the condition. I have no idea if this thing's got a leak somewhere. It could be cracked. The most I can do is 40 bucks. 40 bucks, man, we got a deal. It's $5 more than what you initially said, but it's $10 less than his second offer.
All right, man. I do 4. Done.
Because I was able to gauge him and recognize that he knew nothing about the product. He had no knowledge base whatsoever. All I did was take advantage of that by making him think that I did know something about it. I got him from $75 to $40 in a matter of 2 minutes, and that puts $35 more in my pocket whenever I resell it. Boom, done deal. He gets 220s, I get the cooler, I'm out.